Hey everyone! We made an inert potting mix last time with a rehydrated 10-pound block of cocoa coir mixed in with 1 cubic feet of perlite inside of a 35-gallon storage tote. And today we'll be converting this into an awesome seed starter potting mix. And this is quite easy to do because all we have to do is add in 10 pounds or around 2 gallons of earthworm castings to the previous mix, as well as 1/4 of a cup of azomite. Now, earthworm castings is essentially just worm poo, and this adds a good amount of nutrients to the soil, especially nitrogen, which is bioavailable to the plants right away because it's already broken down to a small enough size that the plant roots can take it in. And while you can buy worm castings online, this is something that's worth trying to source locally because worm castings are only as good as what the worms eat. So a lot of times a local worm farm will have higher quality castings. In fact, it's actually quite easy to start your own worm farm to make high quality castings with your leftover food scraps. And I'll cover how to do this next time. But for now, if you don't have access to worm castings, you can also substitute it with 5 gallons or around 20 pounds of compost, since compost is typically less nutrient dense when compared with worm castings, but offer very similar benefits. Compost is also even easier to make just by mixing some yard waste together and letting it decompose over time. Both earthworm castings and compost also provide a ton of beneficial microbes which help prevent plant diseases and help break down other solid organic nutrients, which is important if we were to add in additional nutrients into this mix. Azomite is essentially mined volcanic ash that provides everything else the earthworm castings might be missing, which is typically the rest of the micronutrients. And while plants only need a trace amount of these micronutrients, because we're starting with the base of cocoa coir and perlite, both of which have no micronutrients built into them, we'll need to provide a little bit of it so that the seedlings have everything they need to start growing fast. Now it's just a matter of mixing it all up, and you'll have yourself a great seed starting mix that doesn't have so much nutrients built into it that it could damage a seedling, but still enough to support a seedling's growth all the way up to the vegetative stage. It's also a lot better than pretty much any seedling potting mix you can find off the shelf, as some of these have no nutrients even built in them, making them sort of useless after a seed has sprouted, and others use things such as chicken manure, which is worse than worm castings, not to mention all of these are way more expensive as well. This recipe will make about 20 to 25 gallons of an organic seedling potting mix, and if that sounds like way too much, don't worry, since you can use this mix for all stages of your plant's growth, although there might not be enough nutrients to support a large plant in the vegetative and flowering stages. Not to worry though, as next time we'll show you what you'll need to add to convert this into a full-fledged, nutrient-rich organic potting mix that can rival that of the best soil mixes on the market. One last thing to note here is that since I started building this with the inert potting mix I made last time, I'm using perlite size 3, which is really good for anchoring itself into the potting mix, but is a little too large for seedling trays. So if you're looking to build this specifically to be used as an organic seedling mix, I recommend going with a size 2 instead. For the next part of the series, we'll be converting this organic seedling mix into a great general purpose organic potting mix, so stay tuned for that. But for now, That's it.